When you were speaking to the news, you mentioned a federal case.
Right.
Could you explain that federal case and what's going on with that?
Well, in 2016, we had the uprising in Sherman Park, which I'm still a resident of today. And of course, civilians. So a lot of people don't know that the uprising, or the riots as they called them, for 2016 actually started from Sherman Park, the actual park. And so we started in the park in June. So prior to August, when Seville was shot, we, as I said, have been sounding the alarm, like this is bad, like the kids and the police are going at each other. They actually had another incident in between those two that they refer to as the mini riot, where they had like the armored police out there and the kids broke the windows out the bus stations and the gas station and stuff like that. So we initially went over there to do some community patrols and to address what was going on then. And the whole time, you know, we have made, this is when Reggie Moore first came into the Office of Violence Prevention. We were working with him. I mean, we were like, and that's right under the mayor's office. So we were telling people like, dude, this is a big thing. It's going to blow up. Like, we need help with these kids. And nobody really answered that call. So for all of these months we have been working with these kids, we actually started conducting the first community and police relation meetings out of the Boys and Girls Club there. So we had the kids there, the police there, the property owners from around the area who have been having problems, store owners. So we was having these huge meetings, and they were working essentially, because what we did was we were telling the police, like, you know, kind of let us handle the kids. Like, if they fighting or if something going on, let us step in and de-escalate it or disperse it. Now, if we can't handle it, then by all means, y'all got to do what y'all got to do. You know, and we had some police who, I mean, some of them went with that and it worked. And then some of them was like, oh, we the police, we're going to come do what we want to do. So we kind of had that internal battle going back and forth all summer. Unfortunately, even with the progress that we were having, Seville Smith got shot in August, and that kind of blew everything up. And so the riots proceeded for a while, and then in 2018, you know, I was arrested and charged initially with 3 counts. I can't remember what the 3 counts were, but it's supposedly a plot to firebomb or blow up District 7 is what they accusing me of. And then later they added some other charges, something about West Alice later. So it went from 3 charges to 5 charges to 7 charges. This is a federal indictment. So federal indictment superseding federal indictment. Now, mind you, we all saw videos from the riots, right? And these are hundreds of people. I am one of 3 people who have charges from that. One of 3, right? One person was found incompetent. The other person is actually, and this is from their saying, not mine, because I explained to you about the gag order that I have about things I can and can't talk about, but they put the information out there about charging me with witness intimidation. So the person who they are using, who they arrested with the actual stuff that they caught him with, is the person that they are using to charge me with. So I am, you know, essentially the only person that is getting federally charged for that whole thing. And, you know, that is what that is. So that has been lingering. I got charged in 2018. The federal government tried twice to get the federal government to not release me. 2 judges said different. And shout out to my support base, like you said, even with the following incident that happened last year with the fire. I mean, people have continued to show up and show out for me in these different situations, and it has been a testament to, you know, my investment and involvement in this city. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to walk out of there on my own recognizance, they call it, or on a PR bond. Essentially, is the same thing as that. And I'm right now currently, this is 4 years in. It'll be this year. It's been 4 years since I've been charged. Still waiting on a proceeding for an actual trial date. So, and that everybody's asking, everybody want to know, including me, because I don't know why they dragging their feet. I don't know what's taking so long. But what people don't understand as well, it's not in my best interest to speed that up either, because Of those 7 charges, I am facing a minimum of 32 years. So I have to tread lightly. I have to act in my own best interest as well in this situation because, historically, they will come for you, and they've come for me many a times before this. This is the worst of the worst. You know what I mean? And so, I definitely have to be careful for situations like the fire thing because that was a targeted attack to try and kind of compound onto that, and that should have triggered something, but it didn't. But it's a very hectic life to have to live in this time.
Yeah, it is hard for the Fed case. I think that their rate of conviction is what was it, like 90?
It's like 98%.
98%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing about Fed cases too, and this is what's difficult for me. If this was a state case, I would kick their ass, right? Because I've represented myself in court and won a lot of times. I do pro se litigations. I help people with their cases all the time, so I'm not stupid by far. One of the main things that's worse about federal is they don't even necessarily need so in state court, hearsay is inadmissible. You cannot make a statement on somebody and then they arrest you and charge you and they can convict you with just that. In federal court, that is not true. They can do that. So this is why I have a charge for somebody saying I wanted to also blow up West Allis and they just charged me with it. Like, where did you even get that from? Like, I know you can't have no evidence on that. So the fact that y'all just piling these charges up for just any and everything is a testament to why I'm in the position I am now. As an activist, I can't tell people, like, I can't go into a room where, like, you get away from me, don't come close to me. I have to be receptive to anybody who comes in proximity to me with an issue. Now, that person can have a conversation with me and say, I need some cheese, and then go to the feds and be like, well, he offered me, he told me if he gives me cheese, I got to blow some shit up. And they can literally take that and do something with it. So, again, I always tell people to look at what we do and to not be deterred, because a lot of this stuff is deterrent. They don't want people doing what we're doing. And I know people claim setup and all this. It's not always a setup. It's not always a conspiracy. I can't say that about any and every activist who claim that. But sometimes it is. And, we have to be very careful.
So just speaking of that incident, not talking about your involvement, but what exactly happened in those 2016 riots? Like, I was outside, but I wasn't really involved, but I seen a lot of things like that went on out there. What exactly?
The crazy part is, like you're talking about, the stuff everything that really happened, we saw it on video. We saw what happened with the gas station. We saw what happened with the cars that were on fire. We saw what happened, the bank was on fire and this other building was on fire. And there were other things that happened in between that, because it's like the protest, right? So in the first days of the most recent protests in the George Floyd area, you did see people breaking the stores and stuff like that. So while people are validly protesting, you do have people who will just go, oh, now I'm finna break into the liquor store, or now I'm finna do this. So, of course, there were things like that were going on as well that people may not be necessarily privy on, that this was going on at the same time. But that stuff happens. People take advantage of situations. So there was a lot of stuff that happened throughout that time. Again, because it's all, and a large part of it is in my discovery, I can't talk about it. But again, we're talking about stuff that actually happened, stuff that was actually burned and damaged, stuff that was actually destroyed, people who were actually affected by this, versus what they are saying was a conversation and an idea, but nothing happened. So let's put that there too.
Yeah.
It
makes
Hey!